Your real enemy. Most people believe their biggest enemy is outside them. They blame other people. They blame bad luck. They blame their past. But the truth is much closer than you think. Your biggest enemy is not someone else. It is your own emotions. Think about your life for a moment. How many times have you told yourself, "I will stay calm now. I won't react again"? And then one small thing happens. A comment, a message, a small insult. Suddenly, all your control is gone. Your mind knows what is right, but your emotions react faster. Your mind is strong, but your heart feels weak. And as long as your emotions control you, the world will treat you like an emotional slave. People will push your buttons. Situations will disturb your peace, and you will keep reacting instead of deciding. This message is not for people who want comfort. It is for people who want control. Long ago in Japan, there were warriors who understood this deeply. They were called samurai. Samurai were not powerful only because they used swords. Their real strength came from discipline and emotional control. They lived by strict rules, known as the Bushido Code. This code taught them how to live, how to think, and how to decide. They learned that fear, anger, love, and attachment can weaken the mind. So they trained themselves to stay calm inside, no matter what happened outside. When someone insulted them, they did not react. When they felt pain, they did not show it. When they had to make decisions, they used logic, not emotions. For them, control meant power. They believed one simple truth. The moment you let emotions decide for you, the battle is already lost. That is why they trained their inner world first. They believed a true warrior wins the battle inside before facing the world. According to their philosophy, a real warrior dies before the fight, not physically, but emotionally. Fear dies, attachment dies, emotional weakness dies. Only awareness remains. This idea was also shared by ancient thinkers who believed that if something is not in your control, you should not let it disturb your peace. Pain can be felt, but it should never control you. So where does this journey begin? It begins with understanding one thing clearly. You cannot control the world, but you can control how you respond to it. And once you learn to pause instead of reacting, your entire life starts to change. Most people think strength comes from action, but real strength begins the moment you stop reacting and start watching yourself closely. Why attachment makes you weak. Every human being is attached to something. It could be a person. It could be respect. It could be attention, comfort, or an image of who they think they are. Attachment feels normal, but most people don't understand one dangerous truth. The more attached you are, the more control you give away. The samurai understood this very clearly. They believed attachment is the root of fear. Fear of losing, fear of rejection, fear of being alone. And fear makes the mind unstable. That is why samurai trained themselves in something very difficult, detachment. Detachment does not mean you stop caring. It does not mean you become cold or heartless. Detachment means you don't lose yourself when something changes. If someone leaves, you don't beg. If someone disrespects you, you don't break. If something ends, you accept it instead of fighting reality. Most people suffer not because something bad happened, but because they are attached to how things should be. Think about it. If someone replies late, your mood changes. If someone ignores you, your peace disappears. If someone walks away, your confidence falls apart. That is not love. That is emotional dependence. The samurai believed that depending emotionally on anything outside yourself is the fastest way to lose inner power. They constantly reminded themselves of one hard truth: everything can be taken away at any moment. People, status, comfort, even life. So they enjoyed things, but they never allowed things to own them. They trained their mind to stay stable even during loss, not because they didn't feel pain, but because they refused to let pain destroy their balance. In modern life, detachment looks simple but powerful. It means your phone does not control your emotions. It means someone's opinion does not decide your self-worth. It means your past mistakes do not ruin your present peace. When you practice detachment, something changes inside you. You stop chasing validation. You stop begging for attention. You stop fearing loss, because you understand one thing clearly: if you don't need something emotionally, it cannot control you. The samurai believed true freedom begins the day you stop needing approval from the world. Detachment is not weakness, it is silent strength. When you can stand alone without feeling empty, you become emotionally untouchable. And once attachment loosens its grip, your mind becomes calm enough to face something most people avoid their entire life. Most people try to escape pain. But what if pain is not meant to be avoided? What if it is meant to be understood?
Pain is not the enemy. From a young age, we are taught to fear pain. If something hurts, we run away. If something feels uncomfortable, we quit. But pain itself is not the problem. Running from pain is. The samurai believed pain was not punishment. They believed pain was a teacher. Pain shows you where you are weak. Pain shows you where change is needed. Pain shows you the truth you are trying to avoid. Most people distract themselves the moment pain appears. They scroll, they complain, they blame others. But distraction does not remove pain. It only delays growth. The samurai faced pain directly. They trained their bodies in cold weather. They stood for hours without rest. They pushed themselves beyond comfort, not to suffer for no reason, but to strengthen the mind. Their belief was simple: if you cannot control yourself in discomfort, you cannot control yourself in life. Pain breaks people who resist it, but it strengthens people who understand it. Think about your own life. When you fail, pain teaches you what needs to improve. When someone betrays you, pain teaches you awareness. When you feel lonely, pain teaches you independence. Pain always brings a lesson, but only if you are willing to listen. The samurai never asked, "Why is this happening to me?" They asked, "What is this trying to teach me?" They didn't complain about pain. They observed it. They felt it fully, but they never allowed it to control their actions. This is where most people fail. They let pain turn into anger. They let pain turn into bitterness. They let pain turn into excuses. The samurai turned pain into discipline. They believed this strongly. Pain should be felt, but it should never command you. Once you stop running from pain, fear loses its power. Criticism hurts less. Failure feels temporary. You realize that pain does not destroy you. Avoiding it does. When pain becomes familiar, life stops feeling unfair. You stop asking for easy paths. You start building strength. And when pain no longer scares you, your mind becomes steady enough to handle pressure without breaking. Pain can make you stronger or bitter. The difference depends on whether your mind stays calm or collapses under pressure.
A calm mind in a noisy world. The world today is loud. Everyone reacts. Everyone argues. Everyone wants to be heard. In this noise, calm has become rare. The samurai believed a calm mind is the greatest weapon, not strength, not speed, but control. They trained themselves to stay steady even when everything went wrong, not because life was easy for them, but because chaos was expected. A calm mind means you don't react instantly. You pause, you observe, you decide. Most people do the opposite. They react first and think later. That is why small problems turn into big ones. The samurai understood this clearly. If your mind is shaking, your decisions will be wrong. That is why they practiced silence. When insulted, they did not argue. When challenged, they did not rush. When misunderstood, they did not explain themselves. Silence protected their energy. But calmness did not mean coldness. The samurai believed in balance, a calm mind and a human heart. They felt emotions, but they did not let emotions control their behavior. They could show kindness without weakness. They could show strength without anger. This balance made them powerful. In modern life, this lesson is more important than ever. A calm mind today means you don't react to every comment. You don't explain yourself to everyone. You don't panic when plans fail. You focus on what you can control, your actions, your effort, your discipline. When others are emotional, you stay steady. When others are rushing, you slow down. This does not make you weak, it makes you unpredictable. People cannot read you easily. They cannot trigger you whenever they want. They cannot pull you into drama. Calmness gives you distance, and distance gives you clarity. The samurai believed that the mind should be sharp like a sword, and a shaking hand can never hold a sharp blade properly. That is why they trained calmness every day, through breathing, through reflection, through discipline. A calm mind does not mean life becomes easy, it means you become stronger. And once your mind stops reacting to everything, something important begins to fade away. The version of you that acted without thinking. The hardest battle is not controlling the world, it is letting go of the old version of yourself that keeps reacting.
Let the old you end. Inside every person lives an old version of themselves. This version reacts quickly. It gets angry easily. It seeks approval. It breaks under pressure. As long as this version controls you, real freedom is impossible. The samurai believed something very deep. To become strong, the old self must end. This was not about the body, it was about identity. Your old self is the one that gets triggered by small things, the one that needs validation to feel valuable, the one that lives in the past or fears the future. This version survives on habit, and habits are hard to break. That is why samurai treated personal growth like a rebirth. They believed each day was a chance to leave yesterday behind. In their tradition, a warrior would symbolically destroy his old name. The message was clear: I am no longer the person I was before. You can apply this idea in your own life. Sit alone. Be honest. Ask yourself, which version of me keeps creating the same problems? Is it the reactive version, the insecure version, the version that avoids discomfort? Write these traits down, not to judge yourself, but to recognize what must change. The samurai understood that awareness comes before discipline. You cannot change what you refuse to see. Letting go of the old self does not happen once, it happens daily. Each time you choose calm instead of anger, each time you choose silence instead of reaction, each time you choose effort instead of excuses, slowly the old patterns lose power. You stop needing attention, you stop chasing approval, you stop reacting to everything. You begin acting with purpose. This is where real strength appears. Not loud strength, not aggressive strength, but quiet stability. The samurai believed the strongest warrior is the one who does not need to prove anything. When the old self fades, you become harder to shake. Life still tests you, people still disappoint you, pain still appears, but now you respond instead of react, and that changes everything. You don't control the world, you control yourself, and that is the highest form of power. When you stop reacting automatically and start choosing consciously, you are no longer ruled by emotions, you are guided by awareness.
If this video helped you, like it. Subscribe for more mindset content. And remember, control yourself, or the world will do it for you.